As promised, our updated GOP primary numbers are out today, and Trump is still dominating the field, despite a few new names and faces. But first, if you haven't seen it yet, check out our video from last week, where we cover the stunning fact that despite the myriad impeachments, investigations, and indictments, Trump is still the highest rated national politician by favorability. He's polling higher than everyone else by at least 3 points, and he's leading Joe Biden right now by 8. Also, if you want free access to independent, transparent, and accurate public opinion news, please take a moment to click subscribe on YouTube or Rumble. Here are the results from the last time we had a multi-way matchup. And at the time, mid-May, Trump had a 45-point lead over his next closest competitor, Ron DeSantis. DeSantis was at 17%, down from 26% a few months before, and down from 37% a few months before that. Also, Trump notably had the most support among all voters, taking home a stunning 37%, with DeSantis only registering 14% and all other Republicans coming in mid to low single digits. Here are the numbers from today for all voters, and Trump is basically unchanged, but DeSantis has lost 5 points of support, ostensibly to some of the new entrants like Tim Scott and Chris Christie. Also, look how good Chris Christie does out of nowhere. He's actually supported more than Ron DeSantis is now among all voters. There's probably a pretty important lesson here for one of their campaigns. Maybe Chris Christie's people need a big bonus? But why is he doing so well? Well, he's getting a lot of mainstream media coverage, and he has been openly bashing Trump. That plays pretty well to the Never Trump people. But again, this is a question about the GOP primary, so a bunch of those Chris Christie supporters aren't going to wind up having a big impact. Here are the numbers among Republicans, and although he lost some support, Trump is still rocking 57%. Those 5 points were undoubtedly peeled off by recent entrants, some of whom might be enjoying a little honeymoon. But look at DeSantis, he's down 4 points to Trump's 5, so the crowded field is hurting him just as much as Trump. But his overall support is now only 13 points among Republicans, despite a massive team and huge campaign spending. This is not a good sign for the Ron DeSantis campaign. And all that rejiggering the news is talking about in his campaign, it had better pay off. Every new time we've asked about the GOP primary, Ron DeSantis has lost support. Going back to the numbers, no one else clears 5%. Pence and Haley both lost a point each, and Ramaswamy and Hutchinson gained 1 point. But look at Tim Scott and Chris Christie. They have pretty good first showings, despite the fact that by favorability and likelihood of nomination, they're at the bottom of the stack. Some other candidate is now down to 1% from 2%. This is the GOP voter saying, please stop, we have enough. Now, if you paused the last slide to do a little mental math and try and add up the support among all the Never Trump campaigners, then you're going to want to pause this next slide too. Trump is actually leading among independents, and yes, even Democrats. Now, most of those self-identified Democrats are not voting in state Republican primaries, but it's stunning nonetheless. But look at Trump's lead among independents. Those numbers will have an impact in the primary, though it's hard to say how much. But look at Chris Christie's 12% among Democrats and 11% among independents. They're the reason that Chris Christie is doing so well among all voters. It looks like the Trump bashing does pay off, at least somewhat. Or maybe they just like the image of a McCain-style maverick. And again, look at DeSantis. His support among Democrats and independents is paltry compared to Trump, and even to Chris Christie. Again, it's tough to quantify the impact of the independent and Democrat numbers, but whatever the impact is, it's safe to say that crossover appeal isn't playing a big role right now for Ron DeSantis. Now, platinum subscribers to RasmussenReports.com get to download all of our crosstab data for each one of our stories. And if they did that, what they'd find is that Donald Trump leads every GOP candidate in every single demographic except Biden supporters. He's leading among women, 18 to 39-year-olds, Democrats, liberals, and yes, even black voters. Pretty incredible. Is the lesson here that everyone loves Trump? Not really. His favorability, like I said, is higher than every other national politician, but it's still just a shave under 52%. And he actually has a higher very unfavorable rating than very favorable. Here's the real lesson. Donald Trump is leading every other Republican candidate by leaps and bounds. And despite whether it's his platform, his personality, the fact he's being targeted, or maybe even revenge, as of now, it absolutely looks like it's Trump's race. But since I mentioned Biden approvers, who do they like most? Chris Christie, by a lot. In fact, Biden's strong approvers are his absolute best demographic. He's really got a message that those people like to hear. If you want to follow along how this really unconventional campaign strategy is going to pan out, make sure you like the video and subscribe on YouTube or Rumble. And thanks for watching.